Fetching stream. It fetched it. There
So
you
we're
go.
live. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us at the House Geeks Real Estate Show. Why not be a house geek with us for the next few minutes and learn the smarter way to buy and sell homes here in the Twin Cities? Today, we'll be talking about navigating the spring market. And if you want to dive a little deeper into some of the topics in regards to buying a home or selling a home the smarter way, you can check us out on YouTube. Just type in House Geeks and look for the house and glasses. Check out our website at housegeeks.com. And remember, these shows will be aired every Sunday at noon on AM 950.
Yeah. What? YouTube page. Almost 100 videos now.
Yeah.
Don't know if we've crossed
And
that
growing.
mark. And growing. Yes. Every week. Cool beans. And now we're doing the, we got the weekly bricks updates that are out there as well. I got to get those put on too. Those are pretty neat.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're starting to run weekly updates on CNN here in the Twin Cities for those who follow the both Facebook pages. So check that out as well. Okay. Ready to do a radio show?
Sure.
Okay, let's do it. Are you chewing gum?
Can you hear it?
I can hear it. Swallow that gum; it'll be in your gut for 9 years. Or just kidding. All right, here we go. You can hear a pin drop through these headphones. I tell you.
Yeah, pretty good mics.
All right. So this start. Are you thinking about buying or selling a house, or just want to know what is going on with one of your biggest investments? Then why not become a house geek? Hi, I'm Kirk Duckwell here with Chad Vandelot, and welcome to the House Geeks Real Estate Show, sponsored by Bricks Real Estate, Network Title, I Loan Home Mortgage, and James Tolson with Country Financial. If you have questions for us, give us a call at 612-207-5388. Again, 612-207-5388. Also, check us out online anytime at housegeeks.com for the latest and greatest home searching and researching tools and links. Follow us on our Facebook page as well. Just type in House Geeks, look for the little house and glasses, and there you will see our Funny Photo Friday, upcoming events, classes. Watch us record live most Tuesdays. Of course, we're not recording live Tuesday this week for those watching us recording live. All right, so today we're talking about navigating the spring market. So we're in the middle of it. For anybody who does not believe me, well, we're going to dive into that in a little bit of exactly why we're in the middle of the spring market at the moment. I know we were discussing those stats just a few minutes ago, Chad, and looking at when is that absolute peak of the market, and we're pretty much right there right now.
And
so
when would you say that it started?
So the spring market really, you start to see it heat up very quickly just a few days after the new year.
Yep.
And just to give you an example, so one of the things that if you listen to this show or track our market updates, you'll hear me talk about the showings per week per listing, which I consider the heartbeat of the market. How fast is the market moving? And if we look at the week of December 30th through January 5th, the showings per listing were at 3.48. The next week, it jumped to 5.1.
Wow.
Okay, that is a huge jump, since normally on a week-to-week basis, we may only see, a few tenths of a percent adjustment per week. So to actually go up by, over a whole showing in 1 week's time, I mean, what does that mean? That means you're shortening the market time of every house on average by jumping by that much.
Because there's more competition for each property and not a whole lot of properties out there.
Right. So that's basically the start of it. And to put this to a little context, if we go to October, that was at 2.78. And then you get to January 1st, and it's up to 5.1, so up by over 2 showings. We're now in the mid sixes, 6.32 this last week was the average. So drastically moving faster than it was. Market times cut in half. Now, the one thing that is kind of interesting is we are a little slower than the same time last year, but we're going to talk a little bit more about why some of that may be in a few minutes. But overall, we've been tracking a downtrend in showing activity since around last July, just a little slower. Partially from what I'm seeing, there's just less buyers, okay? And up until just a few weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago, we actually had more inventory. So that was what was slowing the market, supply and demand. Less buyers, more inventory, right? It's gonna slow it down. Well, now we're seeing things pick up because now the buyer activity has started to boost. We had that horrible February.
Right.
What did that play into it? Well, like I said, we'll get into that more, but if we look at July, well, July had nothing to do with snow. Why was it slower then? Well, it was that supply and demand issue. So the peak market tends always to be, we were looking, how many years back did we look? Like 6?
I think it was 10 years back.
Okay.
Back to 2008, if I remember right.
Yeah, I think, So if we go back to the years where it wasn't dropping, the peak market, and even in a slowing market will still have peak times, right?
Pretty consistent, too.
Pretty consistent, yeah. It basically is split between May and June. And so when I say May and June, that is when those properties close. So then you need to go 30 to 60 days earlier when those properties go under contract, right? That offers are written. So that now you're back into that April, May time frame.
And then just to clarify, those peaks are in regards to the median sale price.
Yes.
So when we're talking about these peaks and these seasonal peaks and valleys, which max out at June, it is median sale price.
And that directly follows that showings per week per listing. That's what I love about it, right? So if we go back to last year at the peak time, and doing that adjustment for contracts written, showings per week per listing was at 8.045.
Wow.
Okay, so very fast. So a market is moving fast when that showings per week per listing is above 4. So, if we're in these 6s right now, it's a pretty fast-moving market, and I expect to see us probably in the next week to 2 weeks go into the 7s, right? And then it'll start to slow down again over the course of a couple months. So, for sellers, you are in the midst of the spring bubble, right? Anybody who thinks that we're in a market bubble, if you look at what happened in 2008 and 9, there was 35,000 listings on the market with not enough buyers to support it, okay? That's what collapsed, right? We're at 10,000 listings right now with plenty of buyers to support it. Supply and demand. Do you know, Chad, that the only time the market really fell in the last 50 years was during that time? Like where there was an overall year-to-year drop.
No, I didn't.
Right. Wow. 50 years. Now, it was kind of flat in the early 80s, but it didn't.
Probably due to the interest rates, right?
Yeah. Yep. So, and then you also had a early 90s flatness in the market, but it wasn't dropping. So keeping an eye on that overall inventory, that showings per week per listing, that's the indicator if we're in a bubble or not, right? So, and we're plenty of activity right now, but we are in a seasonal bubble right now. This is great if you're a seller out there. So what does that mean, though? Well, if you wait until it's green, right? The grass isn't green, the trees aren't green yet. If you wait until then, mid-May, to be getting ready and putting your home on the market, you missed the most green, right? Because I just said the peak showing activity was in April.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and the peak median price
of
is
written
in June,
contracts,
which originated about 35-ish, 40 days prior to that.
you got it. So if you wait until it's green, you're going to miss out on green. So what do you do? How do you make your place look nice, even though the grass is brown and whatnot? Get out. It's time to rake up the yard. Whatever your dog drug out into the snow and buried, it's time to pick that up. Your yard is the first impression people get when they step out of the car and start walking towards the home. So, get the sidewalks edged nicely, clean things up. It's if you want some greenery, go buy some potted plants and put them out by the front steps or something, right? You can do that. That's an easy one.
Another great easy thing to do is clean the area around your front door. There's lock boxes on there, and the agents have to get the keys out of the lock box. So the buyers are starting to form their impression, well, when they walk up to the house, but also as they're standing at the front door there. So make sure that area is very neat and tidy.
Going around the yard, picking up the hoses, toys, whatever it may be. This we call it yard staging, right?
Mm-hmm.
Get it looking nice. We understand once again that it's not green yet, but we mentioned the dog's toys. Well, there's other dog stuff that might be out there, and it's time to clean that up if you're selling your house. So taking care of this stuff, that's going to make a huge, good impression to people as they get out. Now, once they get into the home, open up the windows. Let that fresh air in. Let them hear the birds chirping. Let the light in. Open the shades, if whatnot. Get it looking, smelling good.
Feeling like spring.
Yeah, exactly. So this makes a huge difference, though, right? That if you time this out right, annual appreciation is something like 4.6%, I think, on average since the 1880s, somewhere around there. If you time the market right, you can have the seasonal appreciation, which is more like 10% differential. So if you're talking about a $200,000 house, that's, $20 grand more in your pocket on average by timing it right.
And that's the difference in the average median sale price between January and June.
That is correct. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
That's pretty interesting that there's that much difference in average median sale price and then compared to the average appreciation or the current appreciation.
Well, so for our people on Facebook watching this, a little bonus information. Okay, so there is what's known as quality of inventory as well when you're going into, that December, early January timeframe, right? It's what is left over that just didn't sell. What did people not stage? These are the ones that are going to take the biggest beating because it gets to winter. People are tired of shoveling. They just want it gone, right? So that's a big part of it. You get those high motivation levels. However, a house that is appropriately marketed, priced right, from the get-go, probably isn't going to see that full 10% loss in price because there are fewer of those coming on the market at that time of year. So the reduced number of buyers kind of makes up for that.
Makes sense.
The old inventory really can drag that number down a bit. So for people that are looking at selling, don't become the old inventory, right? Do this right. Get the right agent, have them do the right marketing, have them do the right things, price it right. Makes a huge difference. All right. I wanted to talk about, did you talk about the Sticky doors?
No.
No. Might as well touch on that. And windows and stuff like that. That comes up a lot. There we go. So we'll touch on that.
Before moving into sellers
Buyers.
or buyers.
Buyers. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
Here we go. Welcome back to the House Geeks Real Estate Show. Thank you for joining us and wanting to be a house geek along with us and learning the smarter way to buy and sell homes or just keep track of one of your biggest investments. Today we're talking about navigating the spring market. You know, we left off with the differential from selling in the dead of winter to selling at the peak market, April, May, of it being upwards of 10%, and how that stagnant old inventory can drag those prices down. Same mistake can happen if you come on. Yeah, maybe you're taking advantage of the spring market. You can still overprice. You can still do it wrong. You can leave the yard messy. You can make it so when people show up to your door, the agent's fighting with the lock, using the elbow to get in the door because it's swollen, because it's raining a lot this time of year. So helpful little tip there. Make sure your door is open smoothly. And this is a prime time of year. A lot of inspections will flag windows that are stuck.
Sure.
Take the time before you put your home on the market to make sure your window's open and close. Because before you know it, you might be getting asked to replace a window that's perfectly fine. So spending a little time prepping will keep you from becoming that stagnant inventory. Remember how I said that you were asking what time of year was the absolute peak, and I said, well, a couple years ago, there was a June peak and then an August peak?
Yes.
Right. Well, that's because the stagnant inventory from the spring market drugged the market down as the market slowed down, and then when the fall market kicked in, it boosted it back up again, right? So you don't want to be that stagnant house. You want to be that house that sells quickly. Homes, on average, you got to know your marketing plan. You got to talk with your agent about this. This is not the case for every house, and this is just general days on market on one MLS number. But for every day a home sits on the market based on a few thousand listings that I went back and looked at, they will sell for 0.1% less per day. So basically every 10 days you're on the market, your home will sell for 1% less. $300,000 house, $3,000 less for 10 days on the market.
Wow.
Okay? So that's putting some context to it. Price your house appropriately or within that reasonable range. You don't want to be that house that's 90 days on market. That's not good. Okay, let's see here. Buyers. Right now is a very tough time of year for buyers unless you know what you're doing. So this is the time of year where buyers will get frustrated and give up because they can't get in the door fast enough. One of the primary reasons for this, they're not using the right searching tools. They are using searching tools, getting them delayed information, such as third-party marketing websites. Think of the big ones, and you may be getting delayed information on properties, whether that's delayed information on them coming on the market or going off the market. So you're looking at homes that are already sold and spending your time worrying about those, discussing those when they're gone. Get set up with MLS direct-based sites or apps. We have a direct link to the one we use as real estate agents here in the Twin Cities on our House Geeks page. So just go to housegeeks.com and you can download that app. That's real time. That's going to have everything. That's going to have offer statuses on there, availability statuses, all the specs, all the photos, real-time mortgage calculators, all sorts of great things on that tool. That's why we use it. We wouldn't use anything that was getting us delayed information. I go ask an agent and see if they use a third-party marketing as their primary search engine as they're running around. I don't think you'll find one. Okay, so make sure you're using the right tools when looking. Also, there's really two types of buyers that get houses in a market like we're in right now. Either be the early bird, so get in right away. Don't be saying to your don't be saying to your significant other or even to yourself, "Oh, if it's there in a couple days, I'll go look." Or let's do a drive-by first and then, or let's just think about it, maybe find a couple other houses.
In this market, if you like it, somebody will also probably like it as well.
Right. And everybody else is thinking that way, right? So get yourself out of that mindset and be like, I'm going to get out. I'm going to see this now. If you do that, you can drop an offer. If you're ready to buy a house and like a house, you can put an offer in their lap and avoid multiple offers, which will keep your price down. Okay? Days 2 through 7 are your multiple offer days. That's where the houses are going to probably sell for the most money. So if you want to save money, get out there quickly. If you wait, so you can either be the early bird or what I call be the vulture. Come in and pick up the scraps. Be the one that goes in after the houses that have been on the market for more than 7 days. And it's kind of funny because we were just discussing in the office the other day that it's like, isn't it funny how 7 days to 10 days on market's now a long time on market? Like we don't.
Now, be careful not to fall into the trend of just watching the absolute new listings that come on. As Kirk said, if you get out there at day 7 or a couple days later, a lot of people have already quit watching those properties because they're just watching the new ones as they hit and then forgetting about them if they like them or don't like them.
Right. And so you may be saying to yourself, well, why would I want to revisit something that I didn't like, right? Or I just skipped it or whatnot. Here's why. Maybe, let's say you're searching in the $265,000 price range, and there was a house out there that came on at $275,000. Now it's an old house on market. It's 30 days on market, and now they drop their price to $265,000. That's something you wouldn't have seen before. But if you go back through your old listings, the listings that have been on the market a while, that's where they're going to start showing up, is in those older days on market. So make sure that you're going in. Now, good searching tools, they're going to have the ability to trash the ones you don't like, so you're not cluttered with what I call the fog.
Now, as you're doing this, be careful not to be persuaded by really good pictures or even more importantly by dark or bad pictures.
Cluttered rooms,
those sort of things, because people will overlook those. They can stay on the market a little longer, and you can come in a few days later, after a few days on market, and maybe swoop one of those up.
Yeah, I picked up a great buy, in my opinion, for a buyer that I was working with, first-time home buyer. And it was in Bloomington. Everything else around it was selling for even similar homes, similar shape, just with better photography. They're picking them up for $289 range. This thing, because of those photos, $265.
Wow!
Right? Great house. Absolutely great house. Just had to look beyond, the bad photos and the bad carpet. By the way, what was under that carpet?
Hardwood floors, probably.
Yeah, exactly. So, seeing beyond that stuff can really give you an edge in a market like this. So you're going in on these houses that aren't so competitive. I'm actually in another one I'm working on in Prior Lake at the moment. Same kind of scenario. And, we're going in under asking price while all these other houses are selling for over list price. So, taking a little time to see beyond that is critical. It is also critical to do a home buyer priority checklist. If you don't, you're going to run into that scenario of looking at the wrong homes while the right homes are selling. This is a must, and every couple that I work with, the more I know in my heart, this is a must, right? Because I see, this conversation, and this one came up a week ago. It was garage stalls, right? That was the pain point. It wasn't the house. It wasn't the location. It wasn't the price. He wants the toys and the space, right? So you can see them looking at each other. He wants that, and she wants to be in this location, but that location doesn't have that kind of space. You got to hash that out, because all you're going to do is you're going to look at homes, one person likes, and then you're going to go look at homes that the other person likes, but you're never going to go look at homes that both people like until you're on that same page. You have to do it. Otherwise, you're going to look at 30 homes and give up, right? So you can do it now, or you can do it later. But as we've talked about, prices go up. So anyway, doing it right away is important. Watch out for overpaying. And I think we basically can't say that enough at this time of year. A lot of buyers and a lot of agents will throw value consideration out the window because they're thinking about their pocketbooks. They aren't thinking about their clients. So do a little research yourself as a buyer to see what stuff is selling for around. Make sure you're using the right tools though, because there's a lot of sites that use evaluation stuff that's not actual sale prices. All right, hopefully you found the show helpful. If you have any questions for us, give us a call at 612-207-5388. Again, 612-207-5388. Check us out online anytime, housegeeks.com.
Are we off the live?
I'm not off the live, but I will be soon. Bye, Facebook.